what's up, everybody? I'm Doug Shoemaker with the Shoemaker Loan Team and the Home Foundation, and I'm here with my good friend Todd Korves. Todd, say hi to everybody and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hey, how's everybody doing? My name is Todd Korves, and I am the president and founder of Brett's First Responders. So what Brett's First Responders is, and the reason I am here today, Brett's First Responders is an organization that me, my sister-in-law started back in 2020, and with a goal of providing financial relief to fallen or injured first responders who are outside the line of duty.
That's very near and dear to all of our hearts, obviously, man. Tell me a little bit about how did this start? Like, how did the organization start?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2019, tragically, my brother was killed in a car accident on his way to work. And since he was a volunteer firefighter, he was not able to get assistance from, really good organizations such as Backstoppers or anything like that, or our local city fire department, because he was on his way to his other job. And so, to kind of couple that, unfortunately, the person who hit his car was evading police going over 100 miles an hour. So, Brett never even saw the individual coming. And so we were blessed with a tremendous amount of support from our local community. My sister-in-law was taken care of. Her daycare was paid for. Her rent was paid for. My family was people were bringing so much food over, we didn't even know what to deal with. So we were given, so much support. I mean, Brett's funeral, there was a 2.5 hour wait. They had to shuttle, buses in, literally from other parking lots for people to come. So we were just very fortunate, of the outpouring of support we got. And so, with all that going on, the craziness didn't really stop there. 2 weeks after, the accident happened, my sister-in-law, Alex, figured out she was pregnant. So my niece, was conceived 2 days before the accident happened. So we find out, obviously our world has been completely flipped upside down. And then 2 weeks after the accident, my sister-in-law finds out she's pregnant with a baby that he never even knew about. So throw that into the mix. So
what a blessing on
yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. It was one of those things. I remember, I was actually about to do a video for Extreme Bar Bingo, and my mom, was like, I don't need to tell you this right now, but I have to tell somebody. She told me, and I remember being, so taken back. I think I just walked around in circles for a while, and I'm just like, how do you process this information? But we call her, she's a little Spitfire. But and now all of a sudden she's, 4 years old. And so, yeah, and my sister-in-law named her Brett Grace, after her dad, Brett. So, we're just so blessed that, he was able to leave us with another, extension of him. And he also at the time had an 18-month-old son. So throw that into the mix of 2 kids. And so we were given a lot of support, and, so kind of fast forward, I remember it's Thanksgiving in 2019. My sister-in-law and myself were kind of sitting down, and, we were thinking, how can we give back to our community the same way that we were taken care of? And we kind of looked at what happened with Backstoppers. Brett was outside the line of duty, and we figured, we may have a niche here. We may be able to help people that are in the same boat my sister-in-law Alex was. So in January of 2020, before the craziness happened, we founded Brett's First Responders. And since then, we have been able to donate over $120,000 to families. We have given to families, I believe, my sister's going to kill me if I get this wrong, I believe across 9 states. My sister lives in Seattle, Washington. So I know we've helped a couple of cases out there. We've helped families in Texas, Vermont, New Hampshire, Michigan, I mean, all kinds of, we've been very California, just people finding out our website online. And then, we've obviously been able to help several firefighters that are local here in the Metro East.
That's incredible. And that people would find out about you in that manner, because it's one of the things we always say, whether it be in, business or whatever, you could have the most amazing restaurant ever, most incredible chef ever, the most insane wait staff ever. But if you put it in the middle of the desert, no one will ever find it.
Yeah.
What you do is such an incredible gem. How do you think people find you? You think just by talking about it?
So I've been lucky that, my family, has been in business for a long time. So I think that that's helped. My dad is a lieutenant on the Swansea Fire Department, and that man helps every person that needs anything. My dad will drive to he'll drive, if there's a fallen firefighter, he'll drive to Benton, Illinois to go to the funeral. Because I remember driving when they were bringing Brett back from St. Louis, almost every interpass had a fire truck with a flag. And I know that really resonated with him. So he'll drive anywhere an hour and a half to go visit a fallen firefighter, go to their funeral. And actually, a thing just kind of came to me as you were saying that. My dad one day sat down, and I think he sent out 200 envelopes with like a sticker and kind of what our mission was. And so that's also helped. And my wife used to work at Fox 2. So as a reporter, so we were able to kind of get our word out there on Fox 2. So just a lot of things kind of went our way. But yeah, we do a golf scramble once a year that sells out in about 2 weeks. So we've been able to really kind of get the attention of the Metro East. It's just kind of expanding outside the Metro East is kind of what we're always striving for.
Yeah, that's really, really cool, man. And it's obviously it's going to grow with the passion and the heart you have for it. What are some of the specific things that folks need? Like if the community wanted to get involved and wanted to help you or help the families, like what are some of the common needs that you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, great question. So one that comes to mind is we had a firefighter in Blueford, Illinois. He was on his way home from a fire and got in a car accident, broke his leg. He was new to a job. So you have to get to a certain point of your job where you get insurance and things. So a lot of times it'll be paying, medical bills. One thing that we've done a lot with is helping pay for a funeral for somebody who, if they don't have insurance or whatever the situation is. That's kind of a big thing we've done is funeral costs. We've helped pay people's rents. So we'll take a couple of, I know we had one in Redbud. We had a couple of other examples where we will pay 6 months of their rent, just because any financial burden, especially in a time where, in a lot of cases, if someone loses half of their income, then that's the things that they need help. They want to keep having a roof over their head. So that's what we'll do is we'll pay rent. And I know another example, they kind of just come flooding back to you. We had one guy who, he had to move into a wheelchair. So we paid to have a wheelchair ramp built onto his house. So those are the type of things that we like to do is instead of just here's a check, which we do, but we like to be able to say, hey, we'll pay your rent for 6 months. We'll put a wheelchair ramp on your house. You need a new roof on your house, we'll pay for that. Hot water heater goes out, we'll cover that, stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. Where do you do you guys look to serve a certain amount of people per year, or just as it comes, or how does that all work?
Really just as they come in. Obviously we don't want to have cases, but when they do come up, we are very eager to help people. And I will say, the toughest thing about what we do is the immediate need. So when something like this happens, the hardest part is the last thing on people's mind is, I want to talk to somebody from this charity I don't know about, when all we're trying to do is help. So I think that's, kind of the thing that we are trying to get better about is when something happens, giving them some time and then, be able to help them, because we are always so gung-ho about helping people, the first thing, if we see a news story, I'll always call the local fire department or police department, whatever it is, and just let them know, hey, this is what we do. If they need help, please don't hesitate, to reach out to us.
That's absolutely awesome, man. What do you think Brett would be most proud of in terms of what you guys have accomplished so far?
I think that that's definitely a good question. And it obviously one I wasn't expecting. You caught me there. I would say that just the sheer like willpower that we've put behind it. During COVID, the world shut down, and I'm like, how can we keep fundraising money? And we started a virtual Queen of Hearts, just always kind of thinking of different things. I laughed that he probably is looking down on me, like laughing every first Wednesday of the month. I'm working bingo to help raise money. And he actually probably laughs at the fact that we do a golf scramble, because I don't think Brett ever swung a golf club in his life, but that's our biggest fundraiser by far. So I remember I was telling my sister-in-law, we're like, yeah, Brett hates golf, but hey, at the same time, we got to raise some money, and we found a way to do it. So, we're actually going to start doing more fundraisers, this year. So, but I think that he would definitely be proud of our hard work, because it definitely, it takes a lot. Especially me, my sister-in-law all have kids, and our board members are the same way. And, a lot of people put a lot of time in this to make it happen. So I think that he'd just be proud of and he was probably the hardest working person I know, probably besides my dad. So he'd probably be like, hey, look at Todd. He's he's doing something.
He's doing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that your answer was so worth the question.
No, yeah, absolutely.
The fact that the biggest fundraiser you have is derived from something that he literally didn't love.
No, we've done a memorial race. He used to be a dirt racer, so you throw that into the mix, and the local track that we in Belleville closed down, it might be reopening.
I didn't realize he was a drag racer.
Yeah, he raced cars too. He did a little bit of everything. He worked bingos, worked carnivals, race cars, firefighter, dad, throw all that in there. But yeah, so the track that we used to race at closed. So we did a memorial race back in 2019. And I think that's the most cars they've ever had at the Belle Claire Speedway, or at least in my lifetime.
Well, if you're not familiar with that speedway, I mean, those cars are getting banged up.
Oh, yeah.
Every direction anyway.
Yeah. It's a tiny track. Yeah.
I bet that was awesome.
Yeah. That was awesome. And we actually, did a gender reveal for my niece at the time. Well, now we found out she's my niece. So somebody raced Brett's car that night, and I didn't tell my family we were doing it. So my sister-in-law and I were the only people that knew. And then, I did a speech, and then I told everybody to turn around. And there's actually a funny picture of everybody's face when they figured out that I was like, we were about to announce the gender. And then we had a pink, where there's like pink dust coming by in the car to announce it. We've done a memorial race. We're going to have our first Glow Bingo in April. We had to be established for 5 years to do a bingo. That's Illinois law. So we do a lot of, so we're doing a bingo, which Brett loved bingo, loved Glow Bingo. So we're doing a Glow Bingo in April. Then we do a golf scramble every October, first Friday in October in Stone Wolf, over there in Fairview, I guess that would be. That's our most successful fundraiser. We've raised over $20,000 every single year. And like I said, we're very, very fortunate. Our golf scramble literally sells out in 1 week.
Wow.
So we sell, we sell
a lot of work probably went into that.
Yeah, we sell 36 teams in 1 week. So it's definitely exciting. Sometimes there's people you forget about, and they text you and they're like, hey, do I have a team? And you're like, can't have 37 teams. So, we're very fortunate when it comes to that as well.
What do you think, in the years of kind of building the organization and raising money and doing the great things that you guys do, What is one of your biggest challenges?
I think the biggest challenge is, like I've said, we've given to 9 states. But it's just getting the word out of like what we do. And, whenever you say you've raised over $120,000 and you've donated that much money out and we've reached 9 states, you would think that part's easy. And it's really not. That's the hardest part we've had is, one, getting the word out. And that's even with my dad folding up mission statements and throwing stickers in and mailing them out to 200 plus fire departments. It's getting the word out. And 2 is, like I said, people are grieving, and I know from experience, I think that after the accident, I think I had 120 friend requests on Facebook. So people come out
to be there for you.
Yeah. And people come out of the woodwork, and you get all these, and you don't know like if people are trying to take advantage of the situation, if people are trying to help the situation. And so I know where it is from their perspective. And that's the other hard part is, how do we get a hold of these families in a time of need and help them? Because that's truly all we're trying to do is help. And you're trying not to be invasive or anything, because they're going through what is likely the hardest time of their life. But that was what I would say would be a big challenge, is getting through to, getting hold of the right people with the families and all that stuff.
Yeah, we go through that with Wingfest. A lot of people don't realize that, a lot of the money we raise with Wingfest goes to help combat wounded soldiers. And recently, in the last couple of years, we've also added the families of fallen officers and firefighters. And to your point, that's one of the hardest things every year is meeting the families, getting them to raise their hand, because a lot of times the families, and better than I do, even some of the good programs that are out there, they're kind of forcing healing. They're kind of making people get through things. And I just learned from the families, the Gold Star families and Blue Shield families we work with, that sometimes you're not ready to heal.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't want to talk about it anymore. And I think that's what happens, is they just kind of, move out of that limelight that was hitting them that they weren't ready for. And, but getting across to people that, hey, we're not here to pander. We're not here to make you heal or learn. We just want to be there for you when you need us.
Absolutely. And I think that you, I don't know if anybody's ever said it more accurately. And as you're saying it, I'm like, wow, this is really, because I don't think that you're exactly right. People don't, whenever something like this happens, it's not like we chose to be in, having news stations drive up and down our street, or all these people reaching out. And after, you get through the funeral and everything, you just want to have the dust settle. And then, like you said, the last thing you want is somebody bringing up a memory like that and saying, hey, how can we help? When it's like, and that is truly all we're trying to do is, hey, here's some money to help you guys if you need it. And like you said, it's we're trying to help, but I also understand what they're going through.
This may be a hard question, man, but, as somebody that's gone through this, again, when I go out to Blue Skies Warrior Weekend, it's a place that we take folks to hopefully get some healing while they're having a ton of fun. But I'm always wondering, like, as they're going through it, when they're talking to the rest of the community, as a part of the community, what is the best way to have that conversation? Because we haven't gone through it, and we don't know if we're saying too much or not enough. Is there a proper, in your opinion, because we want to help, but we don't overhelp?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the way to approach that family?
It's, and I wish I'm still kind of trying to find out the same answer.
Well, I'm glad you also feel this.
Yeah. And a lot of times what I found is best is when we are trying to get a hold of someone, a lot of times I let my sister-in-law, kind of deal with those, because she can resonate with a spouse or whatever, because she has gone through it. And she can just be like, hey, look, this is, what we're trying to do. And she can really resonate. Obviously, it was my sibling, which, I know a spouse, it hits different. And it is hard because, people still to this day will come up and, they'll say, how's your parents doing and stuff. My counselor tells me I go into presentation mode, which is what it's like we talked before we came out here is, for 5 years, I've been kind of the face of the organization. I've gone on the news, I've spoke at various events, and it's kind of just like, hey, it is what it is. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to spread awareness for what we have. So, sometimes you just have to, unfortunately, you just kind of put aside how you feel. And you're like, if I want to build this foundation and I truly want to honor Brett would never want me or any of us to sit back and mope or, be down on ourselves. And I remember that was kind of after everything happened. And, it is a blurry time of my life, very blurry time of my life. But I remember I was like, a couple weeks after, I'm like, Brett would literally say, it's like, hey, it's time to get back to work. We can't sit and sulk. We have to get back to work. We have to keep the train rolling. And that's, the philosophy I've kind of taken with this is it is very hard to talk about it, but at the same time, I'm trying to honor my brother and I'm not trying to let this situation, dictate, his legacy. And this is why Brett's First Responders is here, is because we're trying to honor him the way he should be. And you just have to kind of man up, and we just, kind of trudge ahead. And like I said, I wish there was a good way to handle it. I'm still trying to figure that out to kind of go back to the answer, but, maybe one day I'll find a good way to answer it. But 5 years in, I'm still searching for it.
Yeah. Man, I just can't imagine myself going through it. And, I think that's my family and I, it's one of the reasons we get back. And,
yeah, absolutely.
We've not gone through it. Thank God.
Yeah. And I mean, you just your body kind of goes into, like Superman mode. And, I had to be there for my parents and my grandparents and, my sister-in-law and, her son Brock, who was a year and a half old at the time. So you kind of just have to, and, Brett would have done the same thing where it's like, hey, you gotta help others. And, I just kind of worry about myself after I get, my mom always tells me, thank you for taking care of us. And, it's just what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take some time to take care of yourself. But
yeah.
Some people just aren't great at that.
Yeah, I think the way, I've helped heal is try to help others, and that's every time we do a donation. I know that my dad, every time my dad almost goes to every single one with me. And, I know that it's a special place to him and I think it helps him as well. And, we give every fire department a sticker too. So I'm sure every time he sees a Brett's First Responder sticker on a car, on a fire truck, I mean, I bet my dad has 100 stickers on his camper. He has a flag at his house. So, I think that that's just kind of the way, we've dealt with things is, hey, if we can help people, then that's, the way we, kind of keep it going.
As far as being like goals of the organization, do you guys have like a goal that you shoot for each year, or is it just, hey, let's make this the best organization it can be, and however many people we help, we help?
So, I would say that the easiest answer is we try to help as many people as we can. And what we do is, our typical landscape is like a $5,000 max donation, I believe is now the number. But if we're having, and I want to say a slower year, because that's not really the term I would use. If we haven't helped many families out throughout the year, what we'll do is we'll kind of look at a budget of how much we've given away. And then if we do have a situation come up where their rent, for, 6 months is $6,000, maybe we opt to go 8 months to $8,000 just because we have the financial backing, to do it. So I would say that in the case of we haven't had a lot of donations, then we step up our donations. And if we have, a lot of families to help, we'll help out as many as we can. And we're very fortunate. Like I said, our golf scramble helps out because I would say that we probably do about 5 to 10 donations a year. So the golf scramble really helps. And then the bingo we do once a month is a big help as well. So, we're very fortunate to have the financial backing to help people out. We'd like to honestly help out more. And that's kind of why I do things like this, is to spread the word and, try to help out as many families as possible, because that's the biggest thing is you see Backstoppers. Everybody knows what Backstoppers is. We're essentially a little brother of that, we're not helping people inside the line of duty, but there's plenty of cases for people outside the line of duty. And I do want to say, I know we're pretty far into this, but when I say injured, that even goes for, people who have cancer or anything like that. Those are situations that we're helping people out as well.
No, that's absolutely amazing. Because, a lot of them are very specific to duty and
yes.
stuff like that. So I'm really glad to hear that, because I'm always looking for what programs are out there for, our heroes, whether it be military, law enforcement, firefighters. I mean, these are the guys and girls that are running to the fires and to the gunshots. And, so that's kind of one of our missions with Home Foundation, is to try to find as many organizations like this. Hyper local is kind of what we shoot for.
Absolutely.
I'd love someday to be helping people in other states, and we've got some affiliates in Florida and a couple other places, but right now we're pretty hyper local. So
and that's how we are too. A lot of our money comes in from our local community, and that's why we try to give back as much as we can to our local community. But obviously there's people, who have other needs outside of other states. And it's like, we had a very similar situation to our own in Texas, and we donate to that family, and the guy's mom still comments and messages us. It's been a couple years, but to this day, she'll still message us 2 years later. And, those are the situations that really, really hit home.
Now, tell me a little bit about Bar Bingo, man. I mean, this is something that you do.
Brett's
First Responders. Is this something you do for other charitable organizations, or just tell me about it? It sounds interesting. I've not been.
So
my friend Julie's, but talking about Bar Bingo.
So we have we do a lot of bingo. So Brett's First Responders, I'll plug that first. Brett's First Responders, the first Wednesday of the month at Bell Vegas Bingo Hall, formerly Trebo Distributors.
Downtown Belleville, Vegas, Illinois.
Yes. We have a bingo hall called Bell Vegas Bingo on 517 South Illinois Street, Belleville, Illinois. We converted our old carnival party store to a bingo hall. So we do bingo Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but the first Wednesday of the month, the proceeds go to Brett's First Responders. And when you see this bingo hall, it is not where there's a ball cage and people have 50 cards. Like, people play on tablet, like iPads, and it's crazy. It's the most high-tech bingo hall I think you'll ever see in your life.
You just said high-tech bingo.
Yes. All of our, there's no bingo boards. They're TVs. They're 60-inch TVs on the walls. So if you've never been to Bell Vegas and you want to come, if you want to play bingo, come to that first Monday or first Wednesday of the month. You'll see me. And
all of his grief.
Yes. And then honestly, you'll see my dad, you'll see my uncle, you'll see my aunt, my grandpa will probably be calling bingo, my cousin, it's a lot of family, and then our board of directors helps out. Then Extreme Bar Bingo, that's my baby, to a fault, I'd probably say. That is bingo played in bars, where it's free to play. And we started that about 6 years ago. We now do bingo in 9 states. We have about 300 plus locations playing bingo a week. Like I said, it's completely free for the customer. We just ask them to support the bars. And then we have a jackpot at the end of the night. That's the big draw, which is actually going to be $10,000 starting tonight. So free to play.
Yeah, we're not talking about
this is not grandma's bingo.
If you're really, really in a highfalutin place, you get a quilt.
Yeah,
frankly, I grew up with a mother and a grandmother and another grandmother that made quilts.
Yeah,
and if you don't know what goes into those things, holy
cow. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, those church picnics are packed for some quilt bingo.
Insane.
Yeah.
So with the bar bingo, or with the bingo, well, first of all, let me back up for a second, folks, because I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. Now, it sometimes takes a lot to prove me wrong, but when I'm wrong, I admit it. And when I saw Trebos turn into a bingo hall, I was fairly confident someone was out of their mind.
Yeah, well,
I was wrong.
Yeah, we, what we say, I've been I mean, working the family business probably my whole life, but I went to the family business in 2017. And, what we've always said is to stay in business. It's been 78 years. You have to always change. We were, I think, a cigar shop at one point. I think they sold Christmas trees. It was a party supply. We had a carnival, all this crazy stuff. And then it's like we've always been able to evolve. And then we came up with Extreme Bar Bingo in 2018. Yep, 2018. My uncle Denny has said his goal was 20 bars, and we're in over 300. So
wow.
Yeah. So we're very fortunate that that's kind of helped. That's blown up. And then our bingo hall, Glow Bingo, all kinds of stuff.
With the bingo hall and what you do with first responders, is this something that other charities can do through you, or? So
we do, we have 3 charities that are every week. So Monday night is the Altoff bingo. And then Wednesday is Swansea First Responders. So weeks 2, 3, and 4 are for the fire department. And then on Thursdays is for St. Teresa Church or St. Teresa School. So those 3 are locked in, but we do glow bingos at the Bell Vegas on weekends too. And those are more for any type of charity. But to put in a weekly bingo, I mean, it takes a village of people. A lot of volunteers, a lot of hours get put in. So that's why we have those kind of consistent. They're every week. And, bingo 3 days a week in our office is enough, that, 3:00, the ladies start coming in. So it's pretty funny when you're, taking sales calls and you see some people already sitting in the bingo hall when bingo starts at 7. So it's kind
of, what a thought, folks.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Pretty crazy,
man. Well, hey everybody, one of the main reasons I wanted to have Brett here is to Todd here. I'd love to have Brett here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One of the reasons I want to have Todd here is one of the missions of the Home Foundation is to bring awareness to first responder causes and charities, and to just introduce you guys to them and see some of the incredible work they do for our first responders. So one of the things that we'd like to do with the Home Foundation, every month we write a check for $500 to a local 501c3 that supports the law enforcement, military, or firefighter community. So we'd like to donate $500 to the cause.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh man, you're very, very welcome. What you guys do is absolutely incredible as far as I'm concerned. And everybody keep in mind, the Home Foundation, we've got a couple of purposes. One, we want to bring awareness to causes like what Todd has here. We're also looking to help our military and first responders transition into civilian life whenever they leave that public service. So, if you've got somebody who's maybe a lawn care professional, a financial advisor, a mortgage guy like me, a professional that could help our military and first responder community, we want to hear from you because, man, throughout my career, one of the biggest questions I get from my clients all the time is, hey, man, do you know anybody who is an electrician or a plumber or this or that? And, I was just in the Air Force for a very small part of my life, but I started thinking about it a while back. It's like, man, if I'm going to refer business to people, why wouldn't I keep that community as tight as possible and try to find folks that have served our country or our community for all these years and try to get back to them? So that's one of our missions. So if you guys know someone that falls into that category, we'd love to hear from them. We also put together service providers that may or may not be military or first responders, but because they've got such a heart for the community, they'll offer discounts or special service or whatever they can do to give back. So if you're that person, we'd love to hear from you too. Man, any last words, anything you want to let everybody know about?
No, I've talked for, I feel like a while. I'm my mouth a little dry and rambling, but I would like to end on thank you so much for bringing me in. We've been working at this for a while. We finally got to sit down and knock this out. We're so thankful, obviously, for your donation. And we're thankful that you're helping us spread our mission. So that cannot be, unannounced or, not talked about. So I would like to end on thanking you for having me here. Studio's awesome. The equipment's awesome. First podcast I've ever done. So I want to thank you for bringing us in. It seems like we've worked really well on this little project. Thank you so much for the donation. And, please check out Brett's First Responders on Facebook or www.brettsfirstresponders.org. And please let us know if there's anybody we can help.
Hey, man, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And look, guys, if you would like to get involved in helping in the community, whether it's volunteering for Midwest Wing Fest or volunteering for a cause that Brett and his team or that Todd and his team have, man, you guys look alike, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm just a little fatter, but it's fine. Just put a name tag right underneath me right here. So it's Todd. His name is Todd.
But, like whether it's with the bingos or whatever, I'm sure you guys can use volunteers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Folks, don't be afraid to reach out, man. I know a lot of people that are always kind of thinking about involved. Get involved, man. We need to get our community back together and caring about each other locally. Who cares what color tie you're wearing?
Absolutely.
Causes like this or anything with our military or first responders, reach out. We'd love to have you involved. I hope you guys have a great week. And if you know of another local charity that supports military, law enforcement, firefighters that could use a little bit of love or attention, please reach out and let me know. The information will be right down below. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.